All strong teams in the world have got players who turn up on the big games. For Manchester United, Marcus Rashford is fast becoming that player. 31 goals across the big six. Since he joined the senior team in 2015, well, that's massive, isn't it? Welcome to the United Hotspot. My name is Webb, and in this player focus, we look at our boy, a one who turns up when you need him to turn up, disappoints at times when we do need him to turn up, and he's quite a headache to deal with, to be honest. In fact, Old Trafford, Man United, and the Red Devil fraternity are divided on what should be done with Rashford, whether to sell him or keep him. Now, Rashford last season was our star boy, obviously, and his 30 goals did prove that he can be a star in the Premier League. Many already felt that even last season he proved that he's world class. I'm not sure he's world class yet, but I think he has got the potential. But of course, for someone who was given a contract extension of 4 years, earning the amount of money he was given, obviously Man United look at him as a world class player. However, to be world class, you've got to be consistent with your levels. For me, that's why I'm thinking maybe he's not there yet, but perhaps he can. At 26, if he's not there now, he can, but when will he become world class and consistently be so? But he's still proving that he can be an important player for Manchester United. The goal he scored against Liverpool would have been to even a hat trick, proved him as one of the most lethal players against the big teams. He has scored now 31 goals for Man United against the big six in the Premier League. Now, no player in the league has done anything close to that, not this season, not of the players we've had in recent times, meaning he shows up when he has to, though he disappoints more times than not. Now, for a player like that, as we go into the summer and this rebuilding phase, there are debates about what should happen with him. For the manager, Eric Ten Hag, it's clear he cannot leave. He's an important part of his project. Of course, Ten Hag has proved this by the way he has trusted him consistently. Now, the reality is Eric Ten Hag might not be sure of his future, but games and performances recently are consistently proving that maybe INEOS might be a little patient with him. And if that is so, Rashford might have a chance to stay behind. But what exactly should we do with Rashford? Now, we need money. And we saw the game against Liverpool where all these players stand up. And if you go by the game against Liverpool, probably all the players at Man United should be staying, none should be sold. But the reality is, certain players have got to leave. Now, Rashford, to me, still remains one of those players we need to let go of. I'm not so excited by his body language, but that's not to mean that he does not have football left in his legs. He still has a lot of football left in his legs, but I think for me, his best is behind him. That is one, and he does sort of block other players who have a lot to prove and shine going forward. But again, the confusion comes because he's part of our best or our most lethal attack. Rashford, Hoyland, and Garnacho is our most lethal attack. But if we say we are letting go of him, are we building and then dismantling what we're building? That would be the question because he's a little older than the others, so he's more experienced than them, and they probably need that in that attack. So if you look at it, I think as a neutral, you might be thinking he could be an important player for even for Hoyland and Garnacho to learn from a few things because of his experience. But his experience at times has let us down because the experience he gives us is going for a Belfast bender before you have a game. So all that, then how he manages, the interviews he drops at the wrong time instead of focusing on the football, things like that, then spoil the few good things that he looks to be doing. So you think about that, and you're thinking, what exactly do we do with Marcus Rashford? That's a difficult question, and it's not an obvious answer because we are talking of a player who has scored 83 goals in 266 games. Now that's a lot of goals by whichever way you look at it. Those are a lot of goals. So it's not easy, honestly, to get rid of Rashford, but something has got to be done. Someone has got to leave. Is it Rashford? If not, who will it be? Because we need money. That's a very, very important thing. But here are some of the strengths of his game. His pace, and of course, turning up on the big games, big strength. But his pace, of course, speaks for him. His uh, sort of a fear factor, the fear factor that he has to him because of his pace. When Rashford goes clear and he leaves the defender, it's difficult to stop him. So his pace and his threat is sort of a fear factor, and we haven't had so many at Man United in a long time. And someone can say for Rashford to be your biggest threat is probably a sign of how low you've fallen. Well, it might be so because he's not really the best in the world, but he is a threat because of his pace and the pedigree he has, especially against the big teams. Because Rashford is the one player who comes on the pitch and you're not sure who is going to show up. If the good Rashford shows up, you know a goal will be scored somewhere. So there is that about his game. And for me, that is why I say he's not world class. A world class player has got to consistently be able to show up with a certain level and you're sure what you're going to expect from him, except on a rare day where things don't go right. That is a sign of a world class player. That consistency is so important. Now, should we wait for him to be world class? Do we think he can turn into that player? Or do we cash in on him now? Because it's either now or never, if you ask me. If we are to sell Rashford and get money out of him, it should be this summer. It's this summer or never. So that's the confusion. But you think about it, and again, going by the performances against Liverpool, if we just look at those players, we will end up not having a single player we want to sell. Already, people are saying, let Anthony stay. Many people feel Anthony should stay. Already, of course, whereas Perez is trying to talk to Garnacho, we can't sell Garnacho. That's insane. Ahmad Diallo, I think many will say, should stay. Now, Marcus Rashford is confusing us, and we are saying maybe he's an important part of the project. He should stay. So, should we not sell any player and just add on, just let go of the old ones, the Casemiros, the Varens, who are aging clearly, and just go of those, but they won't bring us in good money. We won't get good money from them because they are old. So, what exactly do we do as Manchester United? That's a bit of the rock and the hard place we are trapped in. But a decision has got to be made, and that is why INEOS bought 27.7% in Man United to make those tough decisions for us. For me, honestly, whereas Rashford is a big game player, whereas he has got a pace to be scared of, whereas he was our best player last season, I think his best at Man United is behind him, and I think we can lose him. We can let go of him and give a chance to other new players, fresh feet. We need some fresh bodies at Man United. What do you think?